For my fellow introverts and antisocial people out there, you know that feeling when you keep your circle very small as it is. You maybe have a couple of friends, a couple family members, which in my case, I have like my mom, my 3 siblings, and like my 3 Discord mods that I really keep in touch with, and outside of that, I don't really have anybody that I keep up with on a consistent basis, and even then, those people that are in my circle, I don't even talk to very often just because, I'm not a very social person. I don't like the act of speaking. I don't really like talking. It's nothing against those people. It's just who I am. I like keeping to myself and doing my own thing. That being said, it's always a very terrible feeling when you already keep your circle as small as it is because of your past experiences. And even then, you just end up discovering some terrible, awful truth about somebody that is within that circle. And, before this video goes any further, no, it doesn't have to do with anybody in, like, my Discord server or any of my mods or anything like that. It's something from my personal life, very disconnected from YouTube. But it's always just such a terrible feeling when, you root for somebody for so long, and you're like, in the back of your mind, you know that there's this terrible, awful, evil truth, but then, like, at the same time, you try to just stay optimistic and stay positive and root for that person just because of all the positive things that you have seen or may believe. It's even worse when that process goes on for like years at a time, and then, just like at one point the truth just kind of comes out, and then you just find out all these lies or things or truths or whatever all at once. It's one of those things where like the true colors have shown for a while, and I've known those true colors, but it's just one of those things where you have that final straw that breaks the camel's back, and it's just like, like, you know what I mean? Like, you root for somebody for so long, definitely to a detriment to where you almost defend them more than you should because of the people that are involved. I'm trying to word this in a way that, isn't exactly pointing out who I'm talking about, because, like, again, this has nothing to do with anybody in my Discord server. It just has to do with drama in my personal life. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a very anti-drama person, but when it comes to those who are nearest and dearest to me, I take it very seriously when it starts to affect them in a negative way, especially when it has to do with the evil actions of others that are affecting the people close to me. And it's even worse, right? Because, you can always have those feelings or those tinglings in the back of your mind, like, okay, something's a little fishy here, but I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, just like I was saying earlier, and then you get that cold, hard evidence. You get the receipts, you get the photos, you get the dates and times attached to all of this, you get the metadata in the photos lining up, and it's all just like, why'd you have to do this? It's just a bit of a confusing time, to say the very least, because again, I keep my circle, there's less than, let me count in my head real quick, like, less than 10 people in my circle, right? Not even really. And even then, oh, sorry, by the way, if you see me messing with this little Rubik, it's not even a Rubik's Cube, it's kind of like a Rubik's Cube, but there's like different colored stars on it. When I'm, like, I don't know, in an uncomfortable situation, I don't want to say necessarily stressed out, because I'm not inherently stressed out, I'm just kind of feeling a little uncomfortable right now, I guess. I have a tendency to fidget. I don't know if it's like a ADHD thing, but, it's just one of those things. But last night before I went to bed, me and, the one person that is involved in this situation were, just texting and talking about things, just because, again, there was, like, some, potential ugly truths coming to fruition, and then I went to bed. And then I got up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, and then I checked my phone, and there was just some ugly truths waiting for me in my phone, which was, not a very pleasant thing to have to read at, like, 12 in the morning when, I was just, waking up to use the bathroom, was gonna go straight back to bed. And normally I don't check my phone in the middle of the night because I know that there's a risk of me seeing something like that, which is gonna ruin the rest of my night and make it hard for me to get back to sleep. And last night was one of those situations where it's like, all right, this is real serious though, so I mean, hey, if my sleep gets wrecked over the anxiety that this could bring on, then it is what it is. So I opened up my phone, check my text and all that, and it was like, yeah, man, this, wow, this sucks. So I laid there for like a solid half an hour, 45 minutes, unable to get back to sleep. So it was one of those moments where I said a quick prayer. I was like, dear Lord, I was like, I got a big day tomorrow, I got some stuff to do tomorrow with work and all that. My mind and my body are overthinking, they're stressing a bit. Please help me get back to sleep. And I was out like a light. Sure, I did have to I ended up waking up again later in the night, I had to use the bathroom again. Usually I wake up like 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. I drink a lot of water. I'm like a camel. But thankfully, I had a much easier time getting back to bed those times, but my sleep was definitely a bit affected last night. I'm feeling it today. I'm a little tired and out of it, It's one of those things where I woke up kind of feeling like, alright, you know what, I'm gonna play a bit of Call of Duty Zombies, help my brain wake up a bit, and it did help. I played some Voyage of Despair on Black Ops 4, which was pretty fun. Then hopped on GTA Online because right now one of the weekly car sales things that they have is the Entity XF, and that car was actually removed from GTA Online years ago. And I made the mistake, right? Because obviously I've been playing GTA Online since it came out, so I had a lot of those, early cars back in the day, like the Turismo, the Adder, the Entity, all that stuff. And unfortunately, the Entity, they started doing this thing where they started removing cars from GTA Online, and one of them was the Entity. And of course, I sold that car years ago, but I checked the weekly event things, and I saw that car is for sale right now. Even though they removed it in the past, you can still get it for this week only if you go to Simeon's garage or whatever. So I went there, picked it up for a little less than 600K. I think it was like 556,000, which normally that car used to go for like 795,000 back in the day, I want to say. So that was pretty cool. That gave me a good little nostalgic pick-me-up, so I'm happy to have that in my, GTA Online garage collection again. But then after that, I got back on my texting app just to kind of, go back and forth with the person just to see if there was any other truths that had come out last night or whatever while I was sleeping, or any other information I should know. And I was hit with even more of it, and it was just one of those things where I was just sitting there like, man, this... Oh, wow, it kind of makes you feel bad, because, it's one of those things where it's like, you try to defend somebody, and you try to see the best in everybody. That's just who I am as a person. I always look for the positives, the most optimistic outcome in every person, every situation, the bright sides of everything, the benefits of the doubts, the second, thirds, and fourth chances. I believe in just, being positive, because it's one of those things where it's like, life is so short, our time on this earth is finite. I just want to see the best in everything, no matter what it is, no matter what we're talking about. But there's some evil and ugly truths that you simply can't look past like that. There's some truths where you look at it and it's like, that's indefensible. And again, it's one of those things where, for me personally, I've been through many friends and such in the past, so it's one of those things where it's like, alright, if it wasn't something that affects me on like a daily basis, then it would be like, alright, whatever, sure, just cut that person out of my life, less toxicity, whatever, I'll move on. Like, that's just kind of how I am. As bizarre as that may sound, when I find out an ugly truth about, like, say, like a friend or, relationships that I've had in the past, I mean, I've been single for 5 years now, so it's been a while since I've had to experience anything like that. But usually with something like that, I don't have a hard time letting people go. It's one of those things where it's like, if they hurt me, then it's like, okay, well then, that's less time that I have to waste on them, less money that I have to waste on them, that's just more free time that I have, I mean, it sucks that they, screwed me over, but whatever. I mean, if anything, I'd just become happier at that point, because I'm like, okay, well, now I don't have to worry about them hurting me or screwing me over anymore. But for a situation like this, where it's much more close to home, per se, it's, just sucks. Really does. Again, I'm not trying to name names or say too much of one thing or the other. It's just one of those things where, like, one day, I'm sure I'll end up discussing this in a bit of further detail when the circumstances have changed a little bit, just because you guys know how I am. I'm a pretty open and shut book with you guys. I'm very transparent with just about everything, but out of respect for the other people involved in the situations, I tend to kind of delay when I do and don't talk about things, when it comes to things in my personal life, just out of, if it was just me involved in the situation, I wouldn't care. I'd be, again, like, I'm a very just open, shut book with you guys. Like, I just kind of just lay everything out as it is, and it would be that. But out of respect, again, for the people involved in the situation, I'm just gonna kind of, just stay very subliminal, I guess. It's just a really weird feeling that I haven't had in a while. It's just a feeling of, like, I don't even feel bad or sad or, like, stressed out or anything. I just feel like, man, like that feeling, like, almost empty, just like, I stood up for you, I did all this stuff, I've wasted all my time trying to, it's just... Whatever, it is what it is. Again, though, all I can do is look at it positively and be like, hey, at least I know better than to put my faith in somebody that obviously clearly doesn't deserve it, and now I just kind of work to phase him out of my life, and that'll be that. Does it suck? Sure. Does it hurt me? Does it hurt me personally? No, it does not hurt me personally, because I do not care. Even when it does come to family type stuff, I don't care. I have no problem phasing people out of my... I've already phased my entire family out of my life outside of my mom and my siblings, so clearly I've done it before, I'm capable of doing it, and I don't care. If somebody's toxic, I'll just get them out of my life. It doesn't affect me. The only reason that this is affecting me is because I was standing up for somebody that was actively hurting somebody else who was closest to me more than anybody else in my life, I would say. So that's just kind of why it feels bad, because it makes me feel bad knowing that I inadvertently, possibly, no, definitely did make somebody close to me hurt. Even if it wasn't my intention, even if I had good intentions of just trying to have everybody get along and have the best possible outcome, have everybody be happy. In the end, me trying to be positive still inadvertently hurt somebody, again, closer to me than anybody else. So it's just a tricky situation, I guess. It's one of those things where, I don't know. It's just, this is the reason that I'm gonna talk to people, right? I started the video talking about this, about how small my circle is. And again, my circle is very small. And I literally, like, outside, when it comes to the 24 hours in the day, I maybe spend 10 minutes most days actually talking to people. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, the most I might do is maybe like an hour. If it's like a thing where we're like going out to like a game store together, and you know, it's like one of those things where like, you know, going out of the house or whatever, which even then I don't leave my house at all. The only time I leave my house is like, you know, because there's a retro game store that's like not even 5 minutes from my house. It is literally just to go there, buy games, and get back home. So that's the most talking that I'll do in a day. But even then, for the small amount of interactions that I do have, it's just one of those things where it just sucks that something like this happened. But this is part of why I live my life very alone. I do everything with myself, by myself, and for myself, just because that's just, I don't know, that's just how I'm happy doing things, right? You know, people, it's a conversation for a whole other day. You know, people always have their things. Every time I say that, they're like, oh, you need more socialization, you need friends, you need to get out. No, I'm not happy with doing that. People don't make me happy. I'm miserable when I'm in social situations. I like being happy. I'm in my 20s now, and, you know, I've spent the last couple years like this, and the happiest I've ever been is when I'm just sitting in my room alone, playing video games, making YouTube videos, watching anime, just doing stuff that makes me happy, my hobbies, right? I'm so sick of this forced agenda of all these people thinking that they have some sort of a major in mental health psychology just because they watched a couple YouTube videos and read a couple articles. Dog, just because while yes, humans have always been technically social creatures, that doesn't mean that every human wants or craves, you know, like socialization. In the same way that some humans like pineapple on pizza and others don't, some simply don't want or need that socialization. Everybody's different, and if you try to say that I'm wrong, you're wrong, because you don't understand the fact that every human is unique and different. Anyways, long story short, I'm gonna wrap up this video, go play some Call of Duty Zombies, and yeah, just always be careful, I guess, with who you're defending, and, you know, again, always try to see the positives in everybody and every situation. I do truly still stand by that, but also just make sure that it's not inadvertently hurting anybody close to you in the process, because that's the only thing that's really bothering me at this moment. Sorry again for the lack of eye contact and just rambling throughout this video. Sometimes, you know, therapy never worked for me. The only kind of therapy that has ever worked for me is turning on the camera and rambling. Like, I've seen so many therapists and psychiatrists and have been to many hospitals over the years, even inpatient mental hospitals. And the only thing that has ever worked for me out of all the medications, out of all the therapy, is turning on a camera and the microphone and all that, and just sitting here and rambling for 15 minutes to an hour. Right now I've been recording for like over 20 minutes at this point, but obviously with editing magic, I'll get to condense it down into something a bit more edible or watchable, but yeah, I don't even know where I'm going with this at this point. Just, yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Sorry again, for like the lack of eye contact and rambling. I've just been messing with this cube on the side. I can't solve a Rubik's Cube. I always just take this side, turn it like that, and then I turn it back. Sometimes I'll switch it up and do like this side up here, and then I'll turn that back, and I just kind of keep doing it. I'm too afraid to actually shuffle it. Maybe one day I will, but I mean, that day's not today. But anyways, always mess shout out, thank you to all the Patreons and channel members, thank you to all the low ball tier, remember shout out, thank you to all the mid ball tier, my last game is animated, but shut that on D2 run, Ben Shelton, thank you guys so much, you guys are little legends, I love you. Thank you guys for watching, have an amazing day, stay beautiful, I love you all, peace.